So I'm old enough to have seen certain manufacturers that were popular when I was younger now become nothing more than a memory. I've always been of the belief that this is usually what happens when companies refuse to innovate and change things. There are some things I like consistent, like my food, but in terms of my phones and other tech, I expect a bit more every time there's an upgrade because there's usually more of an asking price. The Galaxy Z Fold 5 is one such device that I did expect more from. I'm not saying it's a bad device at all, but I do think that it's for a very specific kind of buyer. Let me explain in this review. The design of the Fold 5 is not really all that much different from the last two devices within the series. The Fold 5 continues the trend of premium feeling metal and glass in places where it should be. Everything about this device just feels as solid as it did when I got my first foldable Galaxy Z Fold 3. There have definitely been some slight upgrades in terms of the version of glass used on the Z Fold 5, which is now Gorilla Glass Victus 2. This upgrade to the Gorilla Glass line of products apparently can withstand a drop height of 6.5 feet on asphalt and about 3.2 feet on concrete. Aside from this though, you get the same armor aluminum throughout the device and the same Samsung ultra-thin glass on the main display. The Z Fold 5 is also a bit lighter than its predecessor, the Z Fold 4, 10 grams lighter to be exact. This might not seem like a huge difference, but it is something you can feel if you pay attention enough. One of the biggest design changes you might not notice if you never saw it is the fact that you can now close the device nearly flat due to this new teardrop hinge. This should make those with tons of pocket lint happy, since it'll now be less likely that your screen will have picked up all of that lint in your pocket. There's also the fact that the crease on the inner display has also been reduced by a bit, which is something you really also have to pay attention to notice. The displays on the Fold 5 have not changed in size at all, but have changed in the way that they display colors. Where devices like the Z Fold 4 leaned more towards saturated color palettes, the Z Fold 5 dials those colors back a noticeable bit. Reds will still be red, greens will still be green, and blues blue, but there is a noticeable difference in how saturated those colors are. If I had to compare it to any other display I've seen, I'd say it's very close to the colors of the S23 Ultra's display. It seems like Samsung was trying to go more for color accuracy this time than just making colors pop, which can be either favorable to some people or not favorable to some people. I personally prefer the saturation of the Z Fold 4's display, as it made things pop, I feel, in a good way. However, I've come to appreciate the realistic colors of the Z Fold 5's display a bit more, especially as someone venturing into photography deeper and as someone who has just bought myself a full-frame camera. Another welcome, albeit I'm unsure how necessary, addition to the display is the max brightness increase to 1750 nits. I've personally never had the thought that the Z Fold 4's display wasn't bright enough, and don't think I've ever been in a situation where I've needed that much brightness anyway, but it's always great to know that if I ever leave adaptive brightness off and pick up my phone at the early hours of the morning, I'll be treated to a brightness the likes I've only seen in the sun and probably won't get back to sleep. All in all, I'm not saying the Z Fold 5 has a bad set of displays at all. I'm just saying that you may notice the change if you did own a Z Fold 4 before, and yes, I definitely did try the calibration tools Samsung offers, but these did not seem to change anything. The S Pen experience on the Fold 5 has seen what could be deemed as a slight or huge upgrade. There isn't anything that has changed with the way that it interacts with the phone, and you're still not getting air actions like a proper note replacement should have, but the S Pen itself has been slimmed down to near the size of what the S Pen inside of the S Ultra series S Pens would be. It's a bit wider, at least I think, but either way I'm very happy with what they've done here, since the previous iterations of the S Pens for the Fold 4 and Fold 3 were good, especially since they give you tons of grip, but the fact still remains that they were a little cumbersome to carry around since they either required you to put the S Pen in your pocket or have a case with a holder that protruded out and threw off the balance of the phone in important ways, like when wireless charging. If you did decide to go for the Samsung case with S Pen, you can see here that it fits mostly snugly with this case and stays out of the way like this tool really should. The silicone of choice in this phone is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which definitely increases performance. Will you notice how much of a performance increase there is? Will that performance increase be so significant that it makes you feel all warm and tingly inside? If you were to ask me, I would definitely say no, but like I said, it's noticeable. I kind of feel like we've come to a plateau when it comes to how fast our phones open applications and process data in other ways. Pretty much any phone within the last 2 years or maybe even the last 3 years is going to be fast enough for people not doing lots of strenuous stuff. I really feel like these performance boosts we'll get in newer processors will really only be beneficial to people who are doing graphically intensive processes on their devices, which I'm pretty sure Qualcomm is going for anyway. All this to say that yes, this processor has definitely been upgraded from its last iteration, but don't expect to see those upgrades in such a significant way unless you're doing something that can unlock the full potential of these upgrades. The 5G antennas built into this phone seem to have also gotten an upgrade. I did notice that in my speed test that I did get a bit more speed in areas I frequent. I feel like this would be really beneficial to people who use hotspot or have to maintain some kind of connection to a server that tends to take up a lot of bandwidth. If you're not doing any of that, then just know that you have the speed when you need it, even if you don't need it right now. One weird thing that Samsung could have upgraded but didn't is the Wi-Fi version in this phone. If I recall, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 does have support for the newer Wi-Fi 7 standard. However, Samsung decided to stick with the Wi-Fi 6E standard. This probably isn't going to be a big deal since Wi-Fi 7 routers are still new, if they even exist at this point. But Samsung is just usually the first ones out of the gate with newer tech like this. And it's kind of weird that they didn't actually go ahead and upgrade that tech this time. At least they did go ahead and upgrade the Bluetooth version to 5.3, which is the latest. All of the camera specifications with the Fold 5 are pretty much the same exact as the ones on the Fold 4. That means that you have the same 10 megapixel front-facing camera, the same 4 megapixel under display camera, and the same rear camera setup, which means you get a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 50 megapixel wide, and a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto camera. Now, although the specs are the same, what is different about these cameras is the way photos are rendered now. The first time around, I actually didn't really notice this, but the photos the Z Fold 5 takes are rendered with a more realistic tone to them and seem to have a more sharpened look to them. This does make the photos taken on the Fold 5 appear to be higher in quality than previous ones like on the Fold 4. It seems like Samsung's engineers might have listened to certain user feedback and made this change based on that or some other factor. Either way, I do like the look of the photos the Fold 5 takes, as they don't seem to be leaning towards one specific direction, but do meet in a sort of favorable middle. I do think that it would have been cool if we had seen some upgrades to the rear cameras at least. Something like the main camera being upgraded to 100 megapixels. I really don't think this would have been much to ask from Samsung, since their flagship 200 megapixel sensor is out now. But at least we do have those software enhancements to give the Z Fold 5's photos an upgrade nonetheless. If you tend to use the speakers on any of the phones you own, you will be pretty interested to find out that the Z Fold 5's speaker grills are actually smaller than the ones on the Z Fold 4. Does that necessarily mean that the audio quality out of these speakers is bad? Go ahead and have a listen for yourself though and make your own decision on that. Battery and charging specifications are the same as they've always been on most of Samsung's phones, and more so the Fold series. The Fold 5 has the same 4400 mAh battery split over 2 cells as its previous 2 predecessors. It also charges at the same max 25 watts wired charging, 15 watts wireless charging, and 4.5 watts reverse wireless charging. One thing I was pretty excited for when it comes to the Fold 5 is the potential battery life gains it might have. This excitement was based on my experience with the superb battery life I got when I had the S23 Ultra. So, was I let down? My immediate answer would be yes, but I can't say that's the whole case either. Battery life on the Fold 5 has definitely been better than what I got with the Fold 4, but I can't say that it's so much better that it's significant. I can definitely make it through a day with some heavy usage, but I was hoping that I wouldn't have to charge this phone every night, which is something I didn't have to do with the S23 Ultra. Now sure, that's an entirely different phone with mostly different hardware, but there were so many ways Samsung could have chosen to make this phone more efficient, like Samsung has done in the past, that I can't help but figure what they actually could have done with the Fold 5 to bring us closer to the efficiency of the S23 Ultra. Then again, this is just my personal experience, and everybody uses their phone differently from day to day, so your battery life will probably vary and, be very different from mine's. Either way, the battery life is better than what you would get with the Fold 4, but don't expect it to be that much better. To summarize my opinion of the Fold 5, to be completely honest and to try to be as fair as possible, I already had my opinions of this phone even before getting it, and I feel like those opinions haven't really changed much after getting it. We really have to tell the truth about this and any device like it, and the truth is that calling this an upgrade rather than an update would really be untruthful. There are definitely things about this device that definitely provide some advantages over the Fold 4, but I'd be really lying to you if I said that those advantages would warrant you spending the full asking price of this phone. Now, let me be very clear. The Fold 5 is not a bad device at all. I just think that it's a device for a specific kind of buyer. Let me go ahead and try to give you some samples of what I mean. If you have the Fold 3 and have been waiting for some refinements to the formula, then the Fold 5 might give you those refinements you were looking for, unless you were looking for bigger displays, which in that case, this doesn't really mean anything to you. If you are a potential first-time Fold series owner, then purchasing this device will get you the best of what Samsung has to offer currently in terms of all the refinements made here and the efficiency gains of all the parts working together, at least as much efficiency as this phone has. If you are someone who owns a Fold 4 and has absolutely no problems with it, then it would really be unfair for me to tell you that you should upgrade to the Fold 5. I just don't know if the Fold 5 warrants its full-on asking price, unless you really got it like that and you can just spend that kind of money. I mean, if you do, then all power to you, I guess. So hopefully I was able to convey some of what it is I am trying to say through the perspectives I just gave. But to really summarize the Fold 5, I would say that there isn't enough of a significant change in upgrades that I could legitimately sit here and say that someone should go out and pick up this phone, especially if you have the previous model. It's really not a bad device at all. It's just that I can't help feeling that it's more of a Z Fold 4S than a Fold 5. And we all know that the only reason it's not a Z Fold 4S is because that's not part of Samsung's naming scheme. Emphasis on the word scheme. I'm not trying to downplay Samsung as a manufacturer, especially being the one I actually prefer for personal use, but I am saying that the Samsung I know would try harder and put much more effort into their innovations. I absolutely know that they can do better than this, and I hope with the Z Fold 6 we do see better than this. And maybe this actually brings up the topic that we need to go back to 2-year upgrades, but then again, I'm old school. So with all of that being said, we have come to the end of this review, and I do hope that there is something you have taken from it, something you have learned. I'd love to see any comments on what you think about the Fold 5. And, you know, as always, I hope this video was helpful. And yeah, but wherever you are in the world, have a great day, a great afternoon, a great evening, or a great night. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you as always for watching and the support.